The president will no doubt refer to the mass exodus that continues into Eastern Europe. United Nations estimates more than 500,000 people have fled Ukraine since Russia invaded. In fact, they updated that number today to say 660,000. The majority of those displaced have fled to neighboring Hungary, Slovakia, Romania, and especially to Poland. CNBC's Perry Russum is live in Medica in Poland, which is just right next to the Ukrainian border. Perry, what are you seeing there? What is the mood of these people? What sort of services are they being offered, and what are they missing?
So right now it is 2:30 in the morning here in Poland. We have a light snow that is falling as more refugees are crossing the border. We are seeing the stress on their faces as they make their way across. We are seeing more cars coming across tonight than we did yesterday. There are small children packed inside. One woman who was driving cried as she made it across. Shep, they are desperate.
Tatiana Fedorova crossed the Polish border looking for help. Her 2-year-old daughter Vasilina has cystic fibrosis.
What is your long-term plan? Stay here, continue to go west. What are you going to do?
She says she doesn't even know what to do today, let alone tomorrow. Fedorova says she is strong from fighting for her daughter. Now she fears she'll lose her husband and her country. Cystic fibrosis is a disease that attacks the lungs and it limits the ability to breathe. Living with CF is hard. Living with it in Ukraine is even harder. Fedorova says there's the lack of specialists, making it difficult to get medication. She wears this bracelet on her wrist. Monica Bartnik says they can help whoever crosses the border with cystic fibrosis. She runs Muko Help in Poland. They treat 150 patients in the country. Vasilina is their first refugee. When we were with Bartnik, she got a call that another person at the border needs their help. Bartnik says Vasilina will see doctors, get medication, and whatever supply she needs. At Muko Help's headquarters, they showed us medication being sent to Ukraine. These are donations from the families of Polish patients.
Is it safe to say that the care they're getting for here is better than it would be at home for them?
She says that's for sure. They have medication Ukraine does not. The only kind of certainty for a family on the run.
Every person we meet here, we ask them the same question. How long do you plan on being in Poland? And they all say the same thing, about a week. But honestly, they don't know, and it's that uncertainty that is driving them to tears. Shep.
Hey, Perry, what is a night like there? Does everybody have a roof? Does everybody have food? Is everybody warm, or has it already overrun the makeshift system?
Well, to be honest with you, from what we've been seeing, it's the immigrants that are having an incredibly difficult time. Last night, we were walking down here at some of the different refugee camps that were primarily immigrants at that hour. They were burning clothes to stay warm. There were about 4 or 5 different fires that were going on. We saw people that were sleeping by the fire. Their shadows were dark, and all you could see was just their breath in the cold that was rising. Not everybody has a place to stay. Last night, we went down to one of the train stations in town where people were trying to get inside, and they simply couldn't. There was nowhere for them to go. All the hotels are booked. They're trying to find different versions of Airbnb here. They're trying to find fixers to find them a place to go, but there's not a roof for every single head. Shep.
You know, the United Nations Human Rights Group is telling us that before this is over with, even in the next couple of weeks, as this bombardment continues and life in Kyiv and Kharkiv and all over the country becomes untenable, that there could be up to 4 million refugees in a matter of weeks for those countries around there. And a large percentage of them will be coming to Poland. Is there talk locally of how to expand the process exponentially to deal with all of this?
So there are different camps that are in the works that they're talking about, but people who are coming here, remember, they're not familiar with Poland. They're coming across the border and they're turning to us as journalists and saying, where do I go? And we don't know what to tell them. They're trying to find train stations in town that can take them to Warsaw and then go somewhere else. But it seems to be spreading further and further west from what we are seeing here on the ground, Shep.